major television news shows. He frequently associates with the most successful people in business and politics, and he's now a highly paid speaker who gets paid top dollar to travel the world giving keynote addresses to businesses and associations. And you may recall what my question was for you, okay? What is the one main thing Wayne did to achieve all this massive success? Here's the answer. He wrote a book. He wrote a book. That's it. This one book, which describes his top strategies in the sports handicapping industry, a multi-million-dollar industry, immediately gave him everything we've discussed to this point. And when I say immediately, I mean overnight. Okay, now starting with the reality of wherever you are right now, with a business or not, it really doesn't make a difference, okay? A book gives you immediate visibility, affinity, trust, and authority in your chosen marketplace, whatever it may be. And let me tell you, that leads you up to real wealth. By the way, if you don't have an idea or a marketplace yet, it might be to your benefit. You'll see why in a moment. But here's the best news of all. Ready for this? Here we go. Wayne didn't even write his book. He didn't even write it himself. Look at the bottom. He got someone else to write it for him, which can be the best strategy to employ when starting out, and in a moment I'll show you exactly how to do that. He didn't even write this book. I mean, most of us aren't writers, okay? And most books never even get complete. The thought of writing an entire book is painful to most people, which is why most books never even get completed. So for the sake of speed, it sure makes sense to have someone else do it, right? I mean, come on. I always encourage my students and clients to adopt top 1% mentality. Think of it this way. If time equals money, then it makes absolute and complete sense to pay dimes today so you can make dollars tomorrow. I would much rather pay someone to help me than drag my feet, knowing that the dimes I'm paying today to get my book written will yield me dollars that much sooner. Plus, you avoid what I call the trap of someday, where you're constantly sitting there saying, someday I'll get it done, someday I'll make the money I deserve, someday I'll write a book, someday I'll take my business online, blah, blah, blah. Forget that crap, okay? You can have it all now with the book. Now, how can I prove it? Because a book is what allowed me to literally double my income practically overnight. So let's talk about my life in the past 12 to 18 months, okay? Eric Trump has become an associate of mine. That's pretty cool. That's Donald Trump's youngest son, by the way, in case you didn't recognize the name, okay? Michael Buffer. Michael Buffer, I don't know if any of you have ever heard the phrase, let's get ready to rumble, all right? He's the let's get ready to rumble guy, okay? Another associate of mine, okay? Kathy Ireland. A lot of you may know her as the very famous Sports Illustrated swimsuit model several years ago, but now she's a nine-figure income earner in lots of different industries. We hang out, okay? I was also on a TV show, all right? And there's some pictures of me in the studio with Nathan Jurowitz on his TV show that was featured on Time Warner Cable, Viz TV, Ustream, YouTube, all kinds of places, okay? Glenn Ledwell. Okay, a lot of you watching this may know who Glenn Ledwell is, of Mind Movies. Really great guy. We hang out a lot. In fact, recently we've seen each other at several events, and we've done tons of business together. We've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in business together, all because of book. Nido Kubain, multimillionaire, multiple businesses. He agreed to coach me because of my book, okay? Laurel Langemeyer, one of the top information marketers in the world, has taken her brand worldwide, okay? I was able to do a radio show with Stedman Graham. Some of you may know him as Oprah's boyfriend, but he's also a very, very successful business person in his own right, and invited me to be on a radio show with him, okay, with a live studio audience in Toronto. Steve Wozniak and I got to hang out, co-founder of Apple. In fact, I have his personal cell phone number and his personal email address. I can call him anytime I want and ask him a question about my iPhone if I want to, okay? And guys, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just showing you what has happened for me because of a flipping book. And look at these people. A lot of these people are holding their books up. Okay? Got to sing on the same stage with the governor from X Factor. I told you I was still involved with my music. Well, recently I got to sing on the same stage with not only Bret Michaels of Poison, but the governor from X Factor. All right? Rudy Giuliani. I know a lot of you know who Rudy Giuliani is. By the way, there's one of the overweight pictures of me. Okay? And then, of course, you know the story about rock star Bret Michaels. And he recently invited me to come to one of his shows and come in the green room and hang out with all of his friends and things like that. By the way, also in that picture on the right, to Bret's left is Mike Warren, another established best-selling author in the flipping businesses and real estate niche, and Phil Grove. That's all of us having beers on Bret's tour bus, okay? And, of course, singing for charity with Bret. Here's what you need to know. All of this opportunity came to me because I had a flipping book, and my income has absolutely skyrocketed as a result. I'm talking about major speaking gigs on huge stages in front of multiple hundreds and even thousands of people, major collaborations with top leaders in different industries, phenomenally lucrative joint venture opportunities like with Glenn Ledwell of Mind Movies, and many additional business ventures. All of these things suddenly showed up once I had a book, and they will for you too. The craziest part that still baffles my mind is I didn't even write one word of it. In fact, this particular book was a collaborative project with my business partner, Ken, and he did the writing for us. And then we supplemented the rest with other writers in our industry. In fact, here's a top 1% secret for you. The greatest aspect of writing a book are the different ways to do it where you are the facilitator rather than the writer. Hello, leverage. Yet you still get full author credit. That's amazing if you think about it, but very important. Because in today's local, regional, national, and global marketplace, what you need to know, authorship creates authority. Earlier we established that when you have authority, you have a respected voice in your market that your audience responds to. You garner immediate credibility and influence within your chosen field, whatever it may be. And you automatically create a magnetic desire for people to do business with you, meaning they are eager and willing to give you their money in exchange for the tremendous value you provide. When you are a published author, your book immediately gives you that authority. And wealth simply becomes the natural byproduct of that authority. See, with your own book, wealth is no longer that elusive thing you're chasing, hoping to get more of, but rather it's a joy-filled result of having reality, visibility, affinity, trust, and authority in one single leap. I should also mention my additional unintended benefit that has completely shocked my family, friends, and everyone I know. Over 72 pounds gone. In conjunction with all this success, I've also lost over 72 pounds in the process. Now, I should probably write a book about that, actually. Now, I'm not going to say that writing a book will help you lose tons of weight. Don't want to make any false claims here or get insanely healthier or anything like that. But here's what I will say. Having a book creates authority in your market, which creates real and lasting wealth for you because of the opportunities a book brings. This wealth gives you freedom, specifically freedom of energy and time. And when you have that, what you really have are choices. Choices to do what you've always wanted to do. In my case, I always wanted to lose weight, but never fully had the time, energy, or frankly money to do it the most effective way. Because of the success and opportunity as a result of my book, I finally did. So ask yourself right now, if time, energy, and money were no longer a factor, what would you commit yourself to doing? Time with family or friends, maybe a hobby you're passionate about, a charity or cause that you're involved with, spending more time doing that, your own health and well-being, traveling the world, or you fill in the blanks. Okay, with the book, you get to choose. So let me ask you a question. Is life unfair? Okay. Do you dislike your job? I love that picture. Okay? Your solution, write a book. That's a top 1% big insight. Okay? If you are important, and here's another one. If you are important, you've written a book. So if you've written a book, you must be important. You have a book inside you. It's time to get it out. But Jeff, how can a book help me? Well, as an employee, you can get to a higher salary employee. So even if you don't necessarily want to go out and have a business, you can get to a higher salary employee. If your boss knows you're a published author, he or she is going to pay you more, especially if they read your book and you're doing everything in it. Or you could go from employee to your own business. And with all the instant credibility and magneticism and things like that you create from a book, you'll be able to do it in much shorter time. Or you might be able to go from a tradesman to a higher income tradesman. Or maybe from a salesman to a higher income salesman. Or maybe from a business that you already have to a highly profitable business. I know people right now, I have a colleague who has a multiple 8-figure business who has not written a book. I guarantee you, if he was to just spend a few minutes, maybe like only 10 hours, working on what he needs to work on to write a book and ultimately not even write it himself, that would become a multiple 9-figure business, okay? What it will do is I can make more money than you in your business, okay? You know more, I'll be known more. You'll be known more when you have a book, okay? Now, there's 4 expensive barriers that I solve for you, okay? So barrier number 1, the forward scandal, okay? A forward can be a huge factor in whether a book gets picked up by a publisher, how many copies get sold, and so on. But getting a forward written by someone reputable, and getting it written by someone reputable dramatically increases the chances for success. But that can cost as much as $50,000 to get someone good just for the forward, okay? Don't worry, I've solved that issue for you, okay? I'm going to show you in a minute. Barrier number 2, okay? The cover problem, all right? Covers can cost thousands of dollars to design and get done, plus take months to get back from book designers and tons of back and forth, miscommunications, misinterpretations, etc., okay? My team will design a cover for you and alleviate all the headaches so that you don't have to worry about a thing at all whatsoever, and we'll do it fast. In most cases, overnight. Solved. Barrier number 2. No worries about the cover. Barrier number 3, procrastination. Procrastination might be the worst barrier of all, since most people who try it on their own never get their book even close to finished, let alone actually publishing it or selling it or anything like that, or building a business around it, okay? Well, my solution for you is I will give you your own personal book architect. This is someone who you will be able to go to when you're not sure what to do next or you're having to stop, okay? In other words, all the problems. See, here's the thing about procrastination. The reason why most people procrastinate is they just don't know what to do next. I mean, it's literally that simple. It's literally that simple. They may know the step. They may know the theory of what to do next, but they don't really know how to, on the court, on the field, at their desk, know how to literally do that step. Well, your own personal book architect that I will give you will guide you through that exact step and exactly for you, because it's your personal book architect working with you, okay? Not a cookie cutter book architect, your own personal book architect that will get you past any barriers and get you down the path of writing your book quickly, okay? So barrier number 3, procrastination, solved. Now, the biggest barrier of all for most people is how long it usually takes to write a book. This is what usually stops people dead in their tracks. They have a business, a dream, or an idea that never gets realized into a book. So they never achieve the visibility, affinity, trust, and authority needed to create lasting wealth, all because it tends to take so